So we have 57 employees at Geotest. We have a census that pretty thorough census that we need to start onboarding, and we have gotten a list of projects, product codes, all the good stuff from Geotest. There's 402 active projects. So we need to start as soon as possible setting up jobs and setting up employees. We first start, we don't have the infrastructure in Deltec to support these guys yet. We don't have offices and profit centers and overhead projects, etc. So the first step is to create Arlington and Bellingham, Washington profit centers. I don't think there's really anything in that. I think that we would call it a profit center. Yeah. So we need an Arlington office and a Bellingham office. They are like us in that they do geotechnical, environmental. So inside of each of those offices, we need our normal profit centers, plus we need a new one we don't have for building envelope. Once we get those profit centers established, then we can start to create the employees inside of those profit centers. Steve, I don't know if can you screen share the census, or I probably can. Okay.
Ed, what was the third office? Arlington, Bellingham, and what?
Just the two, Arlington and Bellingham.
Just two. Okay. Seven employees.
Seven. Yeah. Oh, we lost it.
1 and 2 items. Active. There are job titles in there. Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yep.
Are there going to be any employment agreements?
There's
That's
two.
difference.
Yeah, there's two employment agreements, one for Kevin and one for Jeremy, the principals. So the notes where they're saying they're paid over 40 hours will be replaced with a salary and a employment agreement. So it's just the two employment agreements.
Okay.
So we have the office that they're working out of. We have a title. We can get pretty close to a profit center. So we would have a lab, all the lab profit centers that we normally have to be created. just concrete soils, asphalt, nothing on water or coatings, or anything special. Geotech, environmental, non-destructive testing, inspection. And then this building envelope, there's 3 people, I believe, that are attached to the building envelope. Can't think of their names. No, they're pretty much exclusively doing that. They should belong to that profit center anyway. So this should all go under the Pacific Northwest region,
Yep.
just additional offices inside of the region. And I don't know, Mike, if we're in a good enough place with all the overhead jobs, then if this isn't just adding scopes to those overhead jobs, as opposed to setting up jobs.
Yeah, probably just adding scopes, I would imagine. This is, what we didn't say is what company, but my presumption is group.
Oh, yeah, RMA Group, yeah.
Well, obviously if it's Pacific Northwest, but who knows?
So there's no prevailing wage, no cost pay rate table required, no night shift differentials. It's pretty standard payroll configuration. There is Washington State has its own workman's comp, so we need to be looking at applying for that. Like our UBI, whatever that we refreshed as a business license is good, but we'll need to get the workman's comp in place.
Yeah, that was the email I sent Steve this morning. I talked to Steve Calloway a little bit this morning, so we got that in process.
Okay. So Mike, can you take on the setup, the creation of these profit centers?
Yeah.
If you need help from me, I can help you on that.
I'm gonna end up probably sending an email and I just need you to say looks good.
Okay. And
You know,
then,
I'm gonna plow ahead as if it's all good because I feel confident enough. But I'm obviously, and it'll be fine because we can change it as long as I don't use it. So
and I think, I don't know what Steve and Molly charge their time to, but we need to educate everybody on these scopes that, you know, we're gonna inactivate all the old overhead projects and use the new ones, so.
yeah, there's a breakdown between geoscience and group. You know, I don't know if you want to talk about it now. We can talk about it later.
Yeah. System breakdown?
Like a project breakdown. So like on group there on geoscience, there's a 330999-0 with scopes. But that doesn't exist on the group side. So it's confusing to me.
All right, well, I'll have to take that on separate.
Yeah.
Wish those guys would just get it right. So Steve, are you gonna do all the work to prepare the onboarding documents, the offer letters? Yeah.
So if they pay slightly different for night, that suggests that there will be a cost pay rate table.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we're gonna handle it now that you mention it. What I left the meeting thinking, oops, wait a minute. I'm not sure we can do that as easily as we said.
Well, I think you just have a private cost pay rate table for the entire company.
Yeah, they give them a differential pay. So the problem, Mike, is that you don't
The
have
differential
uniform.
changes. Yeah, it's not uniform.
Yeah, so you have a pay rate table for each guy. It doesn't work. It works for a union guy because he's group 3 and he makes the exact same wage as the guy next to him who's group 3, but these guys all have different wages, so you don't really have a group classification. You can't. So you can tie a wage to the project, but each individual has a different wage. Right. So I think for now, we just leave the language of the bonus for the refinery work will remain intact, unchanged. Well, it's just a bonus then. We don't have the infrastructure to support automatically adjusting their pay rate on the weekly check because they worked in a refinery. We'll have to treat it the way they do a quarterly bonus for the hours worked on those projects.
That works. Back end shit. That got picked up.
And then Michael will take on the actual setting up of each of these employees. In Deltec, Mike Lemire, before you got in here, their next normal payroll is the 27th. We're going to close on the 31st. They'll get a final check and be terminated on the 31st. We'll onboard them all as new employees February 1st. And we're going to ask that we have our first weekly payroll, which will be 1.5 weeks of work, on the 17th to give us a little bit of time as opposed to doing it on the 10th.
Do we know who they're aligned with?
What's that?
Do we know which cycle they're on, shared or group Geo?
They'll be on group.
Oh, I see. But so it'll be weekly after that.
It'll be weekly after that.
Understood.
We might get some pushback if they get some feedback from the employees that they're upset about the idea of missing a week. Then we would need to do payroll on the 10th for the 4 days, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th of February. Sounds good.
Is on this, is there a vacation accrual anywhere on this thing, on the schedule that's on screen? Is that weekly or bi-weekly?
Be a lot of vacation.
Historically, were they bi-weekly or paid weekly? Yeah, okay.
And they are going to conform to our accrual rates. They'll come in with the same level of seniority as if their original hire date at Geotest. But some of them, I think they have 4 weeks vacations. Some of them are going to take a week haircut
This guy.
if those rates are greater than 3 weeks. I mean, I've talked to Kevin about it. We can talk to him some more about it. We need to highlight that they can accrue up to 150% of the total. They only get 3 weeks a year. That'll offset a little bit of the bump. And the 401k is an added bonus for them, so they're getting something. They don't have a 401k in place right now. They have a simple IRA. We'll be replacing that with our 401k. We'll need to have them eligible right away. Coordinate open enrollment for that. We're going to take their existing medical benefits as is. Their open enrollment is May 1st, so they'll time out perfectly with our May 1st plans. Let's see what else is there, Steve. We need their contribution rates for the medical.
And they'll come across probably bi-weekly too, so we'll need to convert it to a weekly.
Yeah, I would assume everything's coming over at a bi-weekly cycle.
So if we do, well, what do you want to do with that first payroll if it ends up going on the 17th?
Yeah, I would have to treat it as a bi-weekly payroll.
Yeah. Then go after we process, change everybody's rates to weekly, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we have their contributions in the data room, so I'll have to ask for that.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, they have age banded, so it's going to vary by individual. Yep. And then when we did Northwest Geotech, we had a printed benefits handout. I'd like to do that again, coordinate with Steph to have it printed. We'll need, 60 some odd copies of it to take up on the 31st or the 1st, whichever day we go up there.
We'll also need Steve, any withholdings for like child support or even like an Aflac type medical that they treat separately.
Garnishments.
Okay, I can tell you though, if somebody has 2 of those things, you can't combine them, they gotta be separate.
So a lot of work to do. Mike, again, I reached out to Jim and Heidi to try and get them to help. On top of this, there's 402.
Yeah, that's what I see as the big problem, Ed. The 402 projects.
Yeah.
Like all this other stuff is challenging. Right, but I kind of see a path to success. The 402 projects, if I can't get additional help, I don't know how I'll be able to get it done.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna ask for Jim to step in, and I think we need help on backlog at Northwest, and I can get some help from Heidi.
She'll be excited to help if so.
Yeah,
In my opinion, she'll be excited to help.
she wants
But-
a bigger role to be able to go out and help train these people and stuff. So I think
Yep.
she's definitely excited about that opportunity. So I think we should leverage it. Let me share the screen on the. Can you enable me to share the screen, Steve? I don't know. Share content. You guys see that?
Yes.
So this is our project numbers. We're gonna have duplicates. So we'll need to strategize what we're gonna do to conform the job numbers to ours and get the sequences numbered.
What's their highest?
Well, they're adding jobs right now. They're added 28 jobs in 2023.
So can we, for jobs that coexist, this is what I would throw out there. Until we figure out how to do it on the Salesforce side, if it's a 0, like 030, call it an A030.
Yeah, we can
If
add
it's
a
a
letter.
1, a B030. Does that make sense? I mean, we can think, I just want you to think about it. I'm not looking for a decision.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do yet. I mean, you look at the 22 jobs, there's gonna be all kinds of
Duplicates.
duplicates. I was thinking we could go to the 23 and tell Adapted to just push our auto numbering out 1,000 and start all the RMA jobs the rest of the year at 23, 1,001 and give us a little space. We're not stepping on each other for a few months, but we got the historical jobs, we got overlap for sure.
Right.
But we have a good list of project number, project name, client as a, job site. So we need additional information here for compensation, other fields, but we got a good starting point. But it's 402 active projects. And they're using, one of the reasons that they're using letters for like scopes. See these A, B, C, Ds.
Yeah, I see them. So they had no scopes unless there's a letter.
Yeah, it's my understanding they have scopes, they just don't. In QuickBooks, they don't really, or in Salesforce, they don't really break it down. Yeah, we can't break out scopes in Salesforce either. We can show them, but we don't number them. So this is all Salesforce. We don't have any of their contracts yet, so we really don't have good information
Right.
to set up the projects.
I could see that not coming over till the money's exchanged.
Well, we're trying to get the contracts sooner than later because we need to look for the consent clauses.
Gotcha.
And they sent this as a timesheet report. This is an individual. It's going to take some figuring out. They have product names.
It's not on screen, Ed.
Oh, you're not seeing it?
No.
See it now?
Yeah.
So this is an example of what they think they can export from Salesforce. This is an individual one-time sheet with hours and then product codes, geotechnical, construction inspector. So we'll have to look at how they don't have a code. So
That doesn't look good, Ed, because
It
it's
doesn't.
showing 27 points, unless 27.75 hours is all on that Cooperville High tennis courts, but they've got all those other listed products.
yeah, no, I have a lot of questions about this because it
Okay,
doesn't.
all right, fair enough.
This is what we have right now. We couldn't do
Yeah,
a
yeah.
timesheet with it today.
So as long as you see the same issues I see, I'm sure. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna put
Okay,
27
exactly.
hours on this high school, and somehow those hours need to get distributed here. They have start and end times, but they
Yeah.
don't. So this is a work in progress.
Yeah, right there. Right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Well, that says
Yeah, I don't know what they're totaling here.
Trip charge.
mileage. Is that mileage?
Yeah, it's not summed up like that.
Must
The
be-
duration and column Z has the duration hours, which you see over in column E or whatever.
Which matches, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what the 107.5 is. That
It's probably these trip charges, 30 miles here or
Yeah.
22 miles there,
it's just a straight add of everything.
21 miles.
Yeah.
So a lot of work to do here. They don't have a code in the back end to go with these product names. So we should be able to use our existing codes and map them as close as possible to the different product names. There's going to be obviously some additional products, and they don't have any products in Salesforce for lab work that I could see. So there's a lot of work to do to get ready to go live, but their billing in QuickBooks will do the same kind of thing. Let them run in QuickBooks until we can get Deltek configured. I don't know what you guys are doing at Northwest right now, Mike, for revenue, but in Deltek, my thought was we just take their invoices and enter a line item fee invoice, just
Yeah, that is what we should be doing at Northwest as well. We did November. We just got December, I think, last night.
so I'll turn around and get another meeting set up with you guys and invite Jim and Heidi and Melinda to start to tackle these project setups issues. But we're closing on 31st, so a lot of work to do. I don't know the answer to that yet. So I'm leaning because I looked at what they do. They have a 3-year contract for field service in Salesforce. They're just starting the second year in a 3-year contract. So they're committed to paying for that for the next 2 years. We don't want to do that. It's expensive. We can't have every technician in the company paying for a Salesforce license. But we're going to have to pay for it in their instance for the next 2 years. So I don't think we're going to try to migrate them into the same instance of Salesforce. I think we're going to try to put our auto job setup features in their instance. Kind of where my head is right now. So they can just keep doing whatever they do in Salesforce and have it plug into Deltek. That'll create a disparity between Oregon and Washington. But ultimately, we got nobody in Oregon's using the app today anyway. So, ultimately, we want to replace this field service app that they use on their phones with our application. I don't think it's something we can do. It'd be very disruptive to these guys to try to do it in a month or two. So I need to talk to Adapted about that thought strategically, if we can pull that off. For sure, yeah. Not yet, yeah. But we will need to get from Kevin and Jeremy client information to set up accounts in Deltek. So I don't know. We may set them up in Deltek and in Salesforce anyway, because that's the easiest way to create an account in Deltek. So I'm on the fence on exactly what we do with that. Got to come up with a decision next week. I think we can try to squeeze it in tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, if that could work. I'll check with Jim with his availability. Shoot for something like 1 o'clock or something like that. Okay. I'll coordinate with Jim. Anybody got any questions?
No, not now.
Okay. We'll see how it goes. Yep,
Thank you.
thanks. Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you.